OpenSuspect Coding stream. So we are working on the OpenSuspect project, and you can see that I have checked out the task system branch here on my local Git. And so what I did, I had time this week to work on a few things. So now we have a task prototype for the UI we have, which all the UIs can inherit from in the future. We can have the same task use the same, or multiple tasks use the same UI, and always the UI changes to represent the currently used task. I moved some network sync related. What? No, this was something I did a long time ago actually. So what I needed to do here is actually I merged in the previously worked on this meeting branch, in which was the branch that had this network sync related thing here. So you can see there's the asterisks you should follow here. So the network sync and chat box and things like that were worked on, and now all of these are merged into the task system. So I didn't want to do it originally because I already made a pull request for the chat box, so I was hoping that this pull request gets merged into main and I can just merge main into what I'm currently working on, but this did not happen. So I just decided to merge this this branch into the current branch I'm working on, which is the task system. So let me show you in a very briefly how the tasks, what have I achieved in the task system for the moment. So I will just do the single player version here. So let's start the game. So what you can see here is that we have these chemical cabinets. So if you watched last week, these are the chemical cabinets, but that time we only had one. Now I have two. And so if I have this one and maybe open this left hand handlebar, which we need to open both for the door to open, but let me just leave it and let me move to the other cabinet. So there is no collision box yet, but you know, this is alpha, so we don't care about things like that. So you can see, for example, in this case, let me open the right hand side handle. So if I go back to the other cabinet, this one has the left hand side handle open. So what happens here is that even though we are on the, like you can see, this is the same UI. I don't have two separate UIs made for the two chemical cabinets. This is the same user interface for both of them, but and my camera, for some reason, I managed to point in the wrong direction, but the UI always follows the status of the other one. So now if I open this door, we have this cabinet open and this cabinet is still closed, and then you know, this cabinet saved its state. So once I open this door, you can see both the cabinets are open. So there is one small issue here, and that small issue is that if I join the game, so let me join the game here and let's start this game. So as you can see, one thing from the networking side of things, and then if I go back to, so this is my non-server character. So if I come here and maybe let me open this right hand side handle, and if I come here with the server player and open, you can see that this handle have been opened, and even I think this should work in real time. So how can I test that? So let me just move this to another workspace and move this one also to that workspace. Let's switch on tiling. Okay, so if I come here and open this cabinet, you can see that even if I, oh no. Okay, so sometimes okay, you can see it on the left hand side that even if I do the changes here in the right hand side, those get synced. So the syncing only happens once the mouse is outside of this bounding box of this thing. So but the problem is that on the left hand side, even if I change this on the server side, that is not yet synced to the player side. So player and if the player opens the door, that will open the door for the server, and you can see that happens on both of these, both of the maps. And but the problem is if I open using only the server side, that will not be transferred to the client side. So this is the issue that I am currently trying to solve here, and this is how far I've got while I was working on it off screen or off camera. So I started debugging this because I expected this to work in both directions, but it turns out that I made some so I did something wrong, because I don't want to send all the data like one by one. I made a function that collects all the data to be sent to the other side, but then that's never get so there is some, it definitely works when it comes to sending data to the server, because as you can see, this was synced. The state of the tasks have been properly syncing, and yeah, that is something that's been solved. But for some reason I am printing some debug messages here, and it seems to me that for some reason there should be a very simple solution, because I'm printing debug messages here like this 8, 2, 2, 2, all these 2s. These are how many on one single case of data syncing, how many of the packages or packets, or not packets, well, how should I phrase it? So how many instances of data the server is sending to the client. So that's the number of these 2 should be. And it seems to me that maybe the issue is we have some issues here with the validation, the data validation. So maybe the data validation part is what is not working. So maybe that's what I will have to rethink. So the data validation part I made it very hastily, so I would not be surprised. But what you can see here is there's like the game is started. So all this happens in the so player joined, and then we had 2 times, and then this validated data was not good before the game started, which is very strange. Oh no, sorry, this means the validation is working because it's the not equals is false, I guess. So where is this? So this is 288. So line 288. So this is that part. And I guess if this is false, that means these are equal. So the validation was successful for something, but the server receives the data from the thing. And I mean, for element in game data, so when we receive the data from the server, this gets incorporated. So in the game scene set game data, we have this set game data function somewhere, which receives the information from the server in the form of a dictionary. It has a sender data, it has a key, and it has a value. So we can see here that this works for the character outfit, and this is something we worked out a few weeks ago. Works for the meeting chat. Oh, I think that is the problem, that Oh no. That is one of the issues we have here, is that whenever we do not validate properly, we do not validate the data properly, because you can see that how we validate the data is that we just send it back or return it back to the connections. And because how I imagine this work, and this might not work on the long term, but this is something that I'll have to figure out later. So this validation part is what is important here. So the game scene keeps the data element. Well, this element is like the worst name. So what should I should rename this to something else. Maybe, so we just call it game data. Maybe we should call this all game data, and the element should be instead game data. Because element, this name is very strange. And hopefully I didn't yeah, because it was called game data, but then later I started calling new things game data. Hello Micro, I know absolutely nothing of this. Mind if I stay? Welcome Jinta, okay, I am sorry, Jensen Calvin. So welcome to the stream, and you are very welcome to stay. So, and if you are absolutely new and you know absolutely nothing, then maybe I should start or do a little demo here. I already did a little demo, but I will do another demo, because let's take a look. This, what am I working for? This, so this is our game. We can, this is this is kind of a Cold War take on the Among Us style, what would you call it? Social deduction game. So we have a random character generator, but we also can customize our characters. So this is actually I am very proud, I draw this uniform. So this is an actual East German police uniform. Because the game would play in East Germany, and the impostors would be the CIA agent who are trying to kind of sabotage the East German experiments, or something like that is the concept. You can switch around the look of your character, mouth, face wear. So there are this sunglass. I don't really like this sunglass that much, but I need to do something about this. I'll need to redraw a few things. So we can change our facial hair, we can have different hairstyles, and we can recolor our character, both facial. So let's switch to a facial hair, which is a little more visible. So I can change the facial hair color separately and the hair color separately, and the character. Oh, you find this cool. I am very happy you like it. And we can save. If you really made like a character you like, you can save it. I don't have anything saved yet. That is very sad. Let me save this. I call this guy Jürgen. When is this expected to finish? Because I look forward to playing this with my friend. Well, the alpha version is supposed to come out June 30. But I postponed to June 31. But alpha version will only contain like the very, very minimum. It's mostly just mechanics, and then a beta version should be finished by the end of the year. We started working on this project with quite a few people, but in the end I ended up working on it mostly by myself, and I don't really have much time. So the fun part is that if you can just randomly click here and get a random character. So most of the characters were drawn by me, but there are a few that are some other people's work. This font was done by someone else. Most of the graphical parts of this UI was done by someone else. I don't really have a good feeling for UI. So when I say we, there are other people, but mostly so I am. So you can go to our GitHub. I think GitHub is in our description, or I can just go to our GitHub here, save you a few clicks. So on our GitHub, OpenSuspect/OpenSuspect, we can, we have 6 contributors at the moment, and you can see that yeah, nowadays I am the one working on it, and there are a few things here in the pull request which have not been merged in yet, so those don't show up yet. Now we have a few people contributing, so if you want to, if anything, even small things, you can join the chat. We have a matrix chat in which we discuss development. So we started this in 2020, but we made a new repository to clean up a few things. We have an old repository too. But anyway, so currently there exists a nice train, like a train setting for the the lobby, but I did not implement it yet here, so I will have to do that soon. But this is our lobby, and whenever we start the game, you can see, like, currently as the only player you are an infiltrator from the CIA, and this is my map I'm testing things out. So you can pick up objects, so you can carry this chemical powder, and there is like this what is it called, Erlenmeyer glassware you can carry, and empty the bottle and put it down. Will you have microtransactions? No, I don't plan on this. So everything is planned to be fully open source. But of course, if someone wants to, like, that would be a way to monetize, to have some graphical assets that we could make available for money, but I have not thought about that part yet. But yeah. So currently what I'm trying to work on, so this cabinet should be where you can pick up things, but I just put this down to test the item system previously. So what I'm working on is this. So you can open the doors here, and what has to be, oh come on, somehow the right hand handle does not work well. So I will stay till you finish, or maybe when you get tired. Yeah, thanks. You can stay and you can write anything to me in the chat. I'll try to keep up, and hopefully some of the other developers will join in if they have some free time, and then we can discuss. Recently everyone seems to be on their summer holidays, and so this one is the other cabinet. So what I was trying to do is that have the 2 cabinets and use the same UI. You can see there is no collision there yet, but anyways, so using the same UI, but having these separately on the map and having their separate kind of status, and I need to synchronize that between the players, from the server to the player and back and forth. And what is not working out yet is so we have some validation issues, but I don't really know why. So validation is an empty dictionary at the moment. The game scene keeps the data element intact if valid, and changes it to something valid if it isn't. So I need to validate whether the data I receive from the players is correct or not, and if it's correct, then we do not change it. So we will basically return the same thing here. And if it's, oh, that's the problem. Okay, so that is the problem, because the validation I do is it's empty. I don't because I forgot to validate it. So what happens is that it's get empty. So that's what I need to solve here, is to correctly validate the task related data. And if that works out, then we can move forward to actually make this chemical cabinet useful and actually have objects inside. But first we need to synchronize, we need to make sure that synchronization of the door opening and door closing works properly. And so it is actual map.taskNodes.task remote change. So that will be tasks. Where is the tasks? I don't have that open yet. All right. So let me go back to. Why is there UI elements folder here which is empty? Device ran out of battery. Well, that happens if you run on battery. Those run out sometimes. So where did I think it should be in the game directory. No? Where did I put it? Okay, let's open the maps. It must be on maps. Yeah, here it is, tasks. Because tasks are part of the map, so it makes sense. And we need to do the validation here. So we have this task remote changed. And oh, I do the validation here, so if the task, if it's true, so the task resource will do the state remote change function. Where are you? So task resource. No, it's probably on the what? State remote change. No, I need the specific resource for this cabinet. Oh, and don't forget to give a thumbs up or a like on this stream if you enjoy what you see, even if you don't really understand what I'm doing. So I am in the middle of something I started previously. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, that's absolutely understandable. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. So state remote change is what I'm doing here, which means that we receive a new state from the server and call it in our parent class. The parent class will basically just copy this dictionary to the task state, because currently, yeah, the validation we do is just we accept everything. So I don't want to overcomplicate things at this part. We are working on the alpha version. So first, just everything should be in their place, and we can make things complicated more. Subbed and gave a thumbs up. Thank you very much for the sub and the thumbs up. On this YouTube channel, I don't just work on this game. I also sometimes stream of me playing open source games, and I upload Linux related videos. So if you are interested in Linux, you might learn a few things from my videos or just get in. So now I'm doing a series on different desktop environments that are available on Arch Linux. So if you want to see all the, I don't know, 15 different desktop environments, you can. I generally try to publish every video, like every Monday, a new video. So we don't validate anything, but if the door is there, we open the door. So this is what will open the door on the map. That is fine. And the state remote change on the parent class. Okay, so if there is anything. Yeah, I don't, maybe this is not kind of the best way to do this. Maybe what I should be doing is just don't just copy everything, because we just let's just add everything that's in the new state into our task state instead of copying the whole thing wholesale, because it might not, because in the future we might optimize and we only send what actually changed and we don't send the whole task state over. And then in that case, we need to make sure if it does not contain everything, every information about every thing the task has. The Twitter purchase deal is further elongating by entering the litigation process, so it's even more likely that this game will be done before the social media giant goes into private ownership. Welcome P4 to the stream, and thank you for the comment. Just before I started streaming, I listened to a podcast about this Twitter deal and the litigation, and they say that the Delaware Court of Chancery is relatively fast when it comes to billion-dollar deals. So we don't know. I hope the alpha stage will be done before the social media giant goes into private ownership. And so this is the task UI node is yeah, this is going to the UI. Yeah, okay, so it's fine. These things work fine. What does not work fine is that I should have like a success variable here, maybe. Or validation success, which should be a boolean, and maybe start with a false value in the beginning. And P4, I don't know if you were here last week, but I don't remember. But I have a little progress in the game, which I might show up in a few seconds. And so success. So this function, the task remote changed. That is, oh, this is returning a dictionary. Oh, okay. Then maybe we don't need the success variable. I missed last week's. Okay, I will show what I also worked on the game during the week. So even if you did not miss it, you would have missed something I did. So, okay, so we already did. Oh, okay. So we might not need this. This is not going to be success. We don't need this validation success here. We just actually have to return whatever this returns to us. Okay, so let's start. Let's see if we run into any bug here. And will the game break or not? So first I'm just gonna try this here locally without multiplayer. Oh, come on. Okay, so something already broke because the UI is unresponsive. Right. Okay, invalid index get index recipient on dictionary. Okay. So everyone who just joined the stream, welcome to the stream. Welcome to OpenSuspect Coding stream. If you have any questions about the game or anything or whatever, then you can leave it in the chat. And don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy what you see, even if you don't understand everything. This is a programming stream, so you might I might not explain everything correctly. So if you have anything you don't understand, you can ask, and I will try my best. So we don't have a recipient. Why don't we have a recipient? Okay, so what do we have in this validate data not equals game data? So there is something that happened here. So receive data from the server, that's fine. So even though we are the server, we go through all these hoops, I guess. Which is something we might, we should not have to maybe. But anyways, it's easier to debug this way. So we have the validated data coming back from the game scene. Okay, so there is my issue here. Is that that's not what it should. So this is just returning the state of the task in a row. So this, what it returns, this function, is not what I'm expecting here. So it returns a dictionary, but that dictionary should be already packaged up for broadcast, but it's not packaged up for broadcast. It is just, so this validated data, so this dictionary, wait, it contains the name and the state of the chemical cabinet. So for that part seems to be fine. But what we want here is that the game data, that should be a key task. So this is the dictionary. Okay, so how do I explain this? So this is what we expect. This is what we receive from the server. It's a dictionary with 4 elements. The key is task changed. So the client is telling us that there is a task that have changed, and this value, this dictionary contains the data about the change, and then recipient is -1 because all of the players should receive this, and the sender is 1 because it is the server who sent it. So server is the number 1, and this value is a 2-element dictionary. One is the name, which tells you this the name of the task that it is related to, and then the new state of the task, which is everything is 0 because nothing has moved and the door is still closed. Okay, so and this 2-element dictionary is what we got from the validated data instead of this whole thing. And I'm starting to think that maybe this is what how it should work. So that when we validate the data, the validated data does not have to contain the sender and the recipient, because those are things that should not change anyways. So the validated data should only be this game data's actually important part, which is the value. So we should return the game data value here. And then we should expect that not to be the game data, but the game data value. And here, if validated data is not equals -1. So I guess what we can do here is actually, this was changed. If the data is not valid and it has been changed, then what we need to do is game data, the value should be changed to the validated data. So we will overwrite this with the validated data. And once we override it with the validated data, we can change its recipient, the sender, and recipient does all these things. So what we do here is, if this has not been, if the validation was not correct, then we change the modified, so the expected or the acceptable data will be set to the value here, and if this is not broadcast to everyone, then we will send the game data duplicate. And whatever is in this dictionary. Yeah, because if it's not sent to everyone, then we need to send it to the intended recipient with the changed, so with the validated data in it, and we also have to send it back to the original person, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, instead of just using this, maybe that there is a better way to use, which I should use this function. If I wrote this function to queue for queuing the data, maybe I should use it. So we need a key. The key is going to be the same as it was. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this right now. Maybe I can do this later. Let's just check out if things work out this time, I guess. Okay, so let's go. Let's open this closet. Okay, so not here. What am I doing? So let's go back to the debugger here. And the validation always seems to fail for some reason. Validated data is not equal to game data. This validation does not seem to be working. Oh, because I did not change this part here. Game data value. Okay. Let's see now. Okay, I can open and let's see what our debugger is telling us. Validated data not equals false. That's good. That is good because if it's false, that means the validation was successful, which is great. All right, so let's back to lobby. Let's. Oh no! Now something does not work. Oh yeah, that's sometimes okay. So yeah, this is a bug that is totally unrelated to what the hell I am currently trying to do. So this is a bug I am not fixing. Okay. I got scared there for a moment. Alright, so let's start the game. And let's see how things work out now. So if I come here and change this, the debugger will be telling me that, yeah, this is fine. And let me open this door. Okay, the door is opened. Did that get transferred? Okay, and now the client side also sees the door open. Wow, nice. All right, so let's put these on next to each other, and let me. So now if I go with this is the server. No, this is not the server. The server is, yeah, left-hand side. Okay, server is the blue guy. And I open this and let's come here. Right-hand side is the client. So yeah, you can see that the syncing happens only when I move my mouse outside of the what is this? But if I do this on the server side, the client side can see it, and if I do it on the client side, the server side can see the change. So the synchronization is working, both doors are open. And let's go one step further. Let's go back to the lobby. Let's run one more instance. And let's hope that my computer can handle this load of running the Godot interpreter in 3 instances. So let's join. And let's start the game. Alright, so let's everyone go to the top cabinet and let's open the top cabinet together. So the server, my server is this. So this is the server. Let's just, the two clients, are the two clients synced between each other? Yes, the two clients are synced between each other. This is great. So let's open this, let's go to the other cabinet. And here let's go to the other cabinet too. And let's see how these three, everything should work in sync. So for some reason the right hand side handle works a little wonky I guess. Maybe someone doesn't want you to close it, so keeps turning it back. No, turn it back. Move down. So maybe you can fight trying to close the door or open the door. But yeah, so, alright. Let everyone move away from the task, because otherwise the game will break when we go back to the lobby. Alright, so task syncing done. I would say I can at least, okay, let's remove the superfluous print debugs, because we debugged. Receive all game data, and we can remove this one too. And I guess we can keep this one in, I don't know. Yeah, this one we can delete. Let's see. Okay, so maybe this one is something I had it for a long time, so maybe I should keep it in there for, I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so I guess we restructured things a little and made things work, so that's good for a Git commit. Task status syncing implemented, which is git push origin task system. So having this task status syncing implemented is was half of the things of the task system, but we also should be able to perform actions with the tasks. So in this specific case, this task should be able to give us items. So how do I do that? How do I do that? So what we can do is go back to the editor, ChemLab, and tasks. And we have the chemical cabinet task here. It has a task resource. So maybe I should work this on the task resource. So we have 3 shelves in this cabinet, and all 3 shelves could have 3 types of objects. So we have do we have all the, maybe I don't have all the types of objects. Maybe I can currently just add 1 type of object into this, just for simplicity's sake. We are working on the alpha version, not the final version. And so what I'm looking for here is where are my items? Items here. Oh, I guess we only have the flask and the powder bottle, so we can add later the different, like I have already drawn multiple types of items, but we will have to deal with those later. Let's just have powder bottles on the top shelf. And maybe in the task resource we can we have go back to script here and then chemical cabinet resource. Can we have export variables here? What should it be? So the thing is that items have names. So the export variable could be a dictionary, which contains the names and the number of objects that we have. So maybe export variable items in, or maybe items contained. Maybe the default value. Can we have default value for export variables? What is the name of the powder bottle? How does the item system work? I already forgot how the item system works. I worked on this quite a long time ago. Item name in underscore item templates. And how is the item templates filled up? Oh, so this is one of these instances when we have two different functions to load files from the directory structure. Oh no. Yeah, there is a related issue on the GitHub to resolve this. Powder bottle, maybe it's named Coke bottle. Yeah, that is an option. But that was not what I was thinking about. But you know, it's supposed to be an East German secret laboratory, so maybe that's what they are working on. Either Coke or powder testosterone for their athletes. Who does not get this joke? The East German Olympic team was infamous for their ways of doping. Alright. Yeah, maybe we could include a joke about that. The thing is that it will load the files with TRS extension, and we have where are the items? Here. So for example, powder bottle.trs. Oh, it has an item name, powder bottle. Okay, so maybe that's what I need to. How do I do it on the map? Because we have a storage room map which does nothing, only instances, yeah, powder bottles and flasks. Yeah, so we need. Okay, this looks fine. So the action will, yeah, have to create the item on the server. And it would be nice if we could directly put it in our player head. These German female athletes thing was made fun of on late night American television at the time. Now in 2020 the tables have turned, but I won't bother saying why. Yeah. Yeah. We should not talk about that. I guess. And I'm not saying it because censorship or anything. I'm just saying it. That's a topic which is a full can of worms. And here we are just trying to have fun and not being swallowed up by a swarm of worms, I guess. Powder bottle. So powder bottle. Yeah, I guess that's what we will do. Go back to the map. What? Where is the map? I want to go to the map. camlab.tscn. Okay, so we are on the map. Okay, this is the map. So if I select this chemical, we have chemical cabinet 1 and chemical cabinet 2. So let's go chemical cabinet 1 and task resource. Task pop-up name, that is the UI that will be opened. Did I not save? Okay, I didn't. Oh. Colon is expected. I have a colon. Oh, I need a colon here. Yeah, so not what? What am I doing? So I just went totally off track here. Powder bottle. And 10. So if I do this and save this file and go back to the chemical laboratory, select this task resource, do I have to task source chemical cabinet resource.trs? So let's no, where the button sprite and the task pop-up name appears here, but not the items contained. Those are, so those two things, task UI node, no, the button sprite and task pop-up name, these are on the parent resource, and this one is on the child resource. So why don't you just work for me? Chemical cabinet, why don't we see... What is this name here? I don't even know that. Okay, those things so we should not touch. I don't understand why don't we see the... those things over here. I added this export variable and it just says screw you, I guess. Would it work if I close and open? Oh no, I don't want to close because then I need to open all these files again. But anyways, this item contained, I don't know, if it doesn't work as an export variable, it doesn't work, I don't know. But what we should do with this information is, I guess, how do I... Okay, so what we need to do is whenever I open this cabinet, so on the cabinet UI we have all these things which are related to which these variables will have to be renamed. P4 needs to sleep. Have a good weekend. Oh, thanks for the compliment for the synchronized cabinet animation. And have a good night and a good weekend for you too. I'm not sure how long I will be here, but I will try to at least figure out a way to populate the thing we have there. So, like, I mean, we will want to have the powder bottles appear on the UI of this cabinet. So attach new resource. This is what we do. When that new resource is attached, we get the new state change task and to do the change task state, which will use all this information. That makes me think that maybe the items contained should be part of our task state. So maybe we should do this task state items equal items contained. So this way we don't need to do anything special. The items in the cabinet will still be stored in the task state variable, which makes the synchronization of that part much more simple. And here we can just get the new state, the state of the Ervis Buzani, welcome to the chat and welcome to the stream. I don't know what that M means, but M to you too, I guess. Did I made a typo somewhere which should be corrected with the letter M? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's try to figure out how to put the bottles on the shelves, I guess. So first of all, we might want to have a specific scene which will symbolize the items on. I don't want to use the general item scene because that is a bit different. How different? I mean, we have item node here. It has a collision shape and a sprite, not much. It doesn't have much, but it has a collision shape which is weird. I mean, it's not weird for whatever it's made of for, but it's not going to be good for our current goals, I guess. So we need a different item icon or some. Maybe we could use the icon. No, I'm not sure. So with this one, I can save no problem, and item node. Yeah, we have these items which instantiate a template. So how does this one work? Let's take a look at this. So first of all, it creates item templates. Okay, and returns the item templates to. So when is this called? This is called. Well, this is not even already variable. This is just called instantaneously when this is when this scene is instanced. It fills up the item templates, and create item server. So this creates an item. Well, it doesn't do much, but what it does, it generates a random ID for the item and then just calls this create item client, which is the one actually creates the item, using the underscore create item function. So the underscore create item function takes the item name, the item position, the ID, and the properties. Then it generates an item template with the, oh no, it gets the item template with the item name, and then create an item resource. So here we don't need an ID. Do we need the item resources? Maybe we actually should have the item resources here. That makes a lot of sense. Items. Items, new ID, item resource, item node. It creates the item node from the item template. And it puts on the map. Okay, so this is actually not perfectly what I want, because I want to be able to create, so the items should have the resources, and then why I'm thinking is, and why the reason I'm thinking that is that the resource is the item resource is the thing that, well, this item resource will be the thing that tracks the properties of the items, and we could, so ideally in this game we could have places when you put the item into the task and then take out the item from the task, and this is the item resource that is supposed to handle that. So maybe what we need to do is we need a function that can create an item inside a task. And maybe the item resources should be generated and should be part of the task until the action of picking up the item from the task is done. And for that, maybe we need a separate node, like a separate scene that will be the representation of the item when the item is inside a task. I think that makes perfect sense. But tell me if you don't think so. And let me, so probably what we need is we need a function that creates the item on the server, of course. Create task item server, item name, and what we need is not position but instead task name. Well, I guess we could have the task resource itself. Yeah, because this is going to be called on the server by a function that's already running on the server, so we can have the task resource here. And then properties will be similarly handled. And I guess so we can, oh. Yeah, maybe we need the task name here, not the resource. Because we need to call the server. We need to do the remote process call on the client. And actually, we will use the very same thing to generate the item. What is this? Item index and item identifier. But the problem is that this create item, this will be just RPCing the server constantly for all the separate items to be created. So this will have to be, well, this only happens when we start the game, ideally. But I don't know, maybe we will refactor this later if it causes a lot of lag on the start of the game. I mean, what we're gonna do here is create task item client, and it will have the task name instead of the item position, the ID, properties, and then of course we will have to have a create task item function. Which will be very similar to this function. So create task item, and we will have a task name. So of course it won't be able to work with the position. Maybe the item, I will have to work on the item templates too. And this is kind of a strange solution, because the other way I could solve this is just to put the icons inside the task. But then and then generate or create the task resource once it's been picked up from the container, from the cabinet. And that might be the better way to do it, I'm not sure. Well, except if we want to have like items that itself have internal clocks, for example, which have to be started when the game starts. Yeah. It is kind of. So we get the item template, we create the item resource. So maybe the item template might help us out here. Create item resource. That's, oops. Sorry for hitting the mic. And create the item resource. Create item node. Yeah, we should have a separate node for the clicking on an item Maybe that should be a button. Maybe that should even be a button, just a texture button. Yeah, that's what we should do, I know. Okay, so let's go item node and we will create a new scene here. That will be called item task icon. Because this will be the representation of the item on a task. And the root node will be texture button, or maybe should it be just regular control and add the texture button on there as a child node? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have a control. Yeah, this is kind of more I guess, easy to handle situation. So they will be called item task icon. And add a child node, which will be the texture button. We can just call this texture button, I guess. And let's save this scene. In the item node, item task, yeah. What? Is it? Oh, okay. So it just did not appear in the file manager here, but it was already saved. Great. That is fine. And when we are creating an item node, we just instance it and we do nothing else from the template. Item node scene path, yeah, I guess we could have a item task icon scene path too, which let's copy this path. And this will be the create item task icon. It returns a control. And item node scene. So we need, what is this scene item? Okay, so we need item task icon and use this copy paste instance. Why? Okay, here, packed scene. Oh, great. And I just need to think about this. What is it going to be? So this is going to be the item task icon, of course. So we have a new function here. Create item task icon, which will be used for, I guess, item template dot item template dot configure item resource. What is that? This is of course not going to be an item node. This is going to be a control from item template dot create item task icon. But we don't need to. Okay, so we don't, at this point we actually don't need to do any of this. We don't need to do any of this because at this point we are not drawing this anywhere. Assign item nodes and resources to each other. Yeah, maybe we need to create the node though. Just not parent it to anywhere. Yeah, maybe that's what we're going to do. We're just going to create an item node. Of course it won't have item. It doesn't have a position. It's just show. No, it's going to be how to hide these things. So I guess node 2D. No, it's just going to be general node. No? Node 2D. Properties, position, scale, transform. Okay, what? Node 2D. How do I hide a node 2D? So what is this? This is a control. Where is a node? This is a node 2D, right? Okay, so where is the visibility? Canvas item. Okay, so this is on canvas item, and this is what? Anyways, it's just dot visible, right? Yes, it's just dot visible, very simply. Is it? Yeah. Dot visible equals false. So we create the node and we hide it. Assign item nodes and resources to each other. Do I want to do this? Or do I want to create the item node only when it's actually instanced on the map? Maybe that's the better way. As the item resource itself will have all these things in it. Hard texture scale, yeah, all these things, and then set item node. What is the item node? Is the item node null by default? I guess it should be. Yes, it is. And what I need to do, yeah, I will handle this later, I guess, when the bugs start coming up. So when things start to break, that's when we are going to implement things. So currently we just do not assign a node to that resource. What instead we are going to be doing, so now we have a new item resource. what we need to do here get the relevant task resource. How do we do that? I don't know. I don't know because tasks are handled by the map. Oh no. What I need to do here is I need to... Yeah, this is the problem with this whole thing being called remotely, I guess. We need to dereference this task name into our actual task node. For this to work. For this to work, what do we need to do? I guess we could just transition handler.gamescene dot actual map dot something. On the map we have the task nodes, which is called task nodes, I guess. So this is how I can access the tasks nodes. Okay. First, we get the task nodes, and then what we need to do is we do the task handler dot where's my tasks.gd? Well, how do I hide this thing in from here? Tasks.gd has a task resources dictionary, so task handler, task resources, task name. So this will be a task resource. And this task resource will have to have the task resource should have a function which is the task resource. First of all, the task resource. Oh no. This is just getting more and more complicated, so should this task resource should be handling the item resources that are attached to this. This looks like a very, very big overkill. Question I don't know how to answer, if I'm being honest here. So should I attach all these task resources? What? No, this task, all the item resources attached to the task resources, but then what happens if one of these item resources produces a change? Well, I guess the change can be handled through the item resource. We don't have to do that through the task resource. Hmm. So maybe we can just put the tasks. No, the items. They are saved here. And we can reference them by their ID. So we don't need to put the actual task resource inside. No, we don't need to put the actual item resource inside the task resource. That makes sense. Because the task resource will be handled. Excuse me. Task resource will be just handled separately. No, the task resource will only need to, the task resource will only need to know the item ID, and the items system will be able to do whatever has to be done. And similarly, maybe the item resource should know if it's joined to a task. So the item resource should have like a variable. What else already has a variable that's a holder? So maybe we can have another variable. The task resource holding this item. Yeah, that makes some sense. But maybe because in the case of the characters themselves also have the item resource directly attached to them, not just through their numbers, though. Yeah, I guess what we need to do is just handle the items in a task separately from the other task states. So the test template will have to have an array, I guess, of items in it. And I guess the task state do I have an array with items in it, or do I want a dictionary? Maybe I want a dictionary. With items in it. So what am I doing? What am I going to do with this? I guess what I'm going to do is we need for the task resource to be able to okay, so we got the relevant task resource, and then what we do is we item resource dot set task maybe, and then the task resource, we add the task resource here, and then we need to add this item resource. Now there is pickup and things like that. Drop down, item abilities, activate, remove. So here we might just, yeah, this is not where we should put it. Picked up, can be dropped, is dropped, get holder, get item node. So somewhere here maybe. Function set. We put in task or put in task resource will return nothing. And what we will be doing is we will have the underscore task equals task res. That's all it's going to do, and then we will also have a get task, which will return a task resource. Yeah, very simple. So the item, when the item is created, then it will be called put in task resource. And then attach the task to the item and the item to the task. And there will be, in the task template, we'll add this add item function, I guess. Item resource. Well, I guess because it's going to be maybe we need a position for this. So where in the task will this item be put to? That should be a string by my estimation. And what will it do is it will be items position will be just item resource. So with this we'll put the item resource in its position. So we'll have to have a position for this. And how will we determine this position? I guess we need a position string here. And for this we need to have also position string here. And also position string here. So when the create task item server is called, then we, well, come on, position, what's not working here? No. Typing is the thing that's not working here. All right. So create task item server. So that's where is this function going to be called from? Oh, from nowhere. Okay. That's nice. So now I need to utilize this function. And that's going to be in the item, no, task template, not task template, but here. Okay. Maybe we don't do this. Maybe what we're going to do is, because we are not going to put that in a task state, and just changed our minds about that. So what we're going to do is for we'll do a for loop item name in items contained. But before that we will we will have to have maybe let's have a, what is this called? An index, and there will be a shelf index. Okay, let's just start with a lowercase letter shelf index. This will be 0. And what we do here is if item name equals this, continue. If shelf index is larger than 2, break. And otherwise, what we'll be doing is items create task item server. Yeah, so this only should be done if we are on the server. So I guess what we can do here is if connections is server, if not connection, so if we're not server, then just return. Then we don't need to do anything. This is something only the server needs to generate things here. So create task item server, 2 few arguments. Expected at least 3. Okay, so to create the items, what we'll need to do, name, the task item name, task name, position, and the properties. Properties will be left empty, so item name is item name. Well, we need another for loop here though. For index in range, items contained item name. So there will be, like, if it's a 10 power bottles, then we'll have to go through this 10 times and create an item name with item name. What is the... Do we save our name, the task template? Does it save the task name? It does not save the name. It should save the name though. Task node, what does the task node do? It just calls the task resource. Okay. I am quite certain we can get the name from the item, I guess. Item, no. The task, what is it? Task object node. Or maybe I can just save it when we initialize. Name equals task object node dot name. Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the simplest way to do it. I'm not sure if it's going to work properly or not. But anyways, so when we create we need to send our own name. And the position, which will be something, which will be a string. So let us have a string here. And position will be what? Identifier name is not declared in the current scope. But it's declared there in your parent class. What? Name is declared in the parent class though. What's the problem here? What is the issue here? What happens if I say why don't you... Did I just mistype this somewhere? Underscore name, string, underscore name. Why don't you like this? Dot name. Yeah, that's stupid. Is it because it starts with an underscore? Get name. Okay, let's have a get name function. And return string. I guess we could have a setget for this too. Nothing, yeah, I guess it's anything can be nothing. Return name. Can I use the name now if now I did that? The identifier name isn't declared in the current scope. I don't understand. Task state. Task state is also not declared here. Task state is also declared in here. Oh no, Godot, what are you doing to me? Okay, let me close this and open again. I don't understand what the problem is. If I do get name, that works. Meeting UI, why is this open? Close this one. Or is the task template here? Alright, I am getting very confused about this. Why is this name variable not used well in this one? Task state is also declared in the task template. And there is no problem with that. What's up with name? Alright, I am out of ideas here, so let me close this and open again. The identifier task state isn't declared in the current scope, so now now at least the complaint is getting more consistent. Task state is defined by the task resource. Class item resource couldn't be fully loaded. Was this the problem all along? Okay, so the Godot debugger pulled a trick on me, I guess. So I want to create a position string here. It's going to be str shelf index, and we'll use maybe a dash str index. So now we should expect the end of statement. Okay, we need a plus sign here. So now that we have a position for all the items on the thing, then it will go to the item create item server. Item template couldn't be fully loaded. Script error or cyclic dependency. Oh no. But why? Item resource couldn't be fully loaded. Script error or cyclic dependency. So what's the problem with the item template? The item template configure item resource has the item resource loaded in it. But it was like this before. Suddenly all these cyclic dependencies start to cause a problem here, or what? I am losing my composure here. So we need to create task item server on the items.gd. Create task item server. Let's get the position. Okay, so what I want to test. Now I've written a lot of code. Did I write a lot of code? Did I just screw around here? Yeah, I mean, a lot of modified files here, so. Yeah, I guess I wrote some code here. Okay. So now it's time to test what the hell is going on. And this is going to be the most complicated thing ever. Because we need to create these items on the server. And then when the server creates, even if I just do it single player, that will go through everything. So why don't we just put a breakpoint over here? And let's take a look at what the hell is going to happen once we start the game. So breakpoint. Okay, so now we need to create the task items, so the items in the task. With item name going to be powder bottle, name going to be chemical cabinet, and the position is going to be 0-0. Alright, let's jump into this. So we will create as a new ID, which is this nice number, and we will RPC into the create task item client function. Create task item client. So where is this? So let me put a breakpoint over there and let's continue running this. Okay, so what do we have here? Our item name is powder bottle, task name is chemical cabinet, position is 0-0, and this is the ID. Now let's jump into the create task item, where we will just go through this. So get item template, and that's fine, we get an item template. Then we will get an item resource made by this template. The item resource will save its ID, which is this nice large number 59011, etc. Now we create. Okay, we get the task nodes. Does it? Okay, so we got task handler. This is a null. Oh yeah. What's the problem here? Maybe. Transition handler. So transition handler. What? Need to open the transition handler here. Okay, so transition handler has the game scene saved in it. Actual map name is CamLab, which is nice. The actual map is the CamLab. So here, if we go to take a look at the remote scene tree, then we'll see that yes, this is already loaded. CamLab is on there, but the task nodes, even though it's already here and loaded, oh, because when the task nodes gets loaded, it runs its own ready function, and then the CamLab's ready function is run after that, and then the map's ready function is run after that, and the game's ready function is run after that. So even though the task nodes is ready, what is this? The CamLab does not have the task nodes saved yet because the CamLab is not ready yet. All right, we need. This is getting more and more not good. The game.gd should have the task nodes, I guess, saved. We already have like an actual map node, and then why can't we have a var tasks? And we could just when the task node is loaded, when tasks is loaded, we could just no, transition handler game scene equals self. We could do something like this. Yeah, we could do something like this. That is perfectly fine in my book. And we could just get the task handler like this. I guess, yeah, we can do that. I guess we could do a set task handler, which is a new task handler, which is a node. Returns nothing, and tasks equals new task handler. Yeah, maybe it should be like a task handler, something better name. So task handler equals new task handler. Great. Here we contact the task handler, and when this is loaded, we make sure, well, that this is saved in there. Task handler is saved in the game scene. Okay, so this is this fine? Is this how I type it? Set task handler. I'm afraid I'm overcomplicating things here. But anyways, let's go back to our thing here. Oh. Invalid get index on game scene. Base node transition handler. Yeah, because it's a lowercase letter. So breakpoint. So we go into this and we got a new ID as we had before. Call the RPC here, and then the RPC is calling item name is powder bottle, task name chemical cabinet, position 00, ID, and we don't have anything in the properties, so let's jump into the next thing. So now we are in here. We got a new item template, or is generated based on the item name, or at least it's used up, and then we create an item resource based on the item template and the properties. And so if we want to check this item resource, we can check here in the locals that we have an item resource, and that item resource was created. Well, why does it have nothing yet? Oh, because it didn't do the item template.configure resource. Damn, that's something we need to do. And I'm not doing here. So we need this item template.configure item resource. Maybe after we did this, we should configure. Okay, let's try again. Let's see. Start, and the breakpoint is here. So let's go to the next breakpoint. We already know this works. So create task item with item name, powder bottle, task name, chemical cabinet, position 00, new ID. Great. Let's jump into this, create the item template, item resource, save the item resource, and then configure the item resource. So now if I open the item resource here, yeah, you can see now it's been configured. So we can see the bottle things here. The ID is here too. Abilities, it has no abilities, and therefore no ability icons. And it has no null holder and null task. Nothing is connected to this yet. So next, we got the task handler. Okay, so task handler is loaded in, which is nice. And the task handler, we can check on this. So task handler is this node on the remote. Very good. And then item resource, put in task. So let's see. Oh, invalid get index chemical cabinet on base dictionary. Oh, that's interesting. So what have happened here is that we run into another problem. That currently the task handler has no tasks in it. because the task initialization has not happened yet. So these items are trying to be created in the initialization process, but while we are initializing the task resources, the task resource does not exist yet. It's not created yet, or it exists, but it's not in this task resource dictionary yet. When does it go in there? When do we put it in there? What happens is when this is ready, then, oh, we create a task resource in the, when do we create this? When the task node is loaded, then it will initialize the task resource. But then when this is only getting saved in the task resources function once the task handler is ready. This is strange. Anyways, I've been streaming for more than 2 hours now, and I think I've run into a problem that requires much more thinking than what I was first expecting. So I think this will be the end of today's episode. So thank you for watching. And yeah, I will have to contemplate this further. So maybe what I will do instead is, because the syncing of the task states, simply, that works already. So maybe I will create a pull request on that, so everyone else watching or following the GitHub can check that out. And while that one is being checked out, hopefully I will be able to come up with a efficient solution for the interaction of items and tasks. And yeah, that is it. I'm happy you enjoyed the live stream, and hope to see you again. Hopefully we'll stream some gaming tomorrow, but I am not sure about the schedule yet. So have a good day, and go to the GitHub, give a star on our repository, so give a star for OpenSuspect. Join the community in our Matrix chat, which is available in the description down below. And yeah, I will try to solve this quite complicated thing sometime in the future. And I will see you then, or maybe after I solved, I don't know. But anyways, bye.